Hello, it's Juliana here, and I just want to talk about this like custom doll project more so from my perspective as a collector, and what inspired me to want to make the Holy Quintet from Madoka Magica in doll form. So it all started with my duplicate Ainsley because I had no idea what to do with this doll for a while. Like I mainly got her to like use her like extra clothing in other dolls restyles, but and she did have slightly wonky eyes, so I always favored my other Ainsley over her. And then I realized that like wait, she looks like Homer Akemi from Madoka Magica, like minus the eyes. And like then I realized Crystal Bailey had Homer's eye color to a point, and like, yeah. So if you're wondering who Homer Akemi is, I do have my Madoka Magica, etc. game up. So yeah, this is how Homer looks in the game, and then there's like other outfits that she like appears in. I do have multiple versions of her in this, and yeah. So if you've seen the Madoka Magica anime, you know that Homura is like a very mysterious character, but also a very tragic one. She basically uses time travel magic to travel back in time over and over again to try to save Madoka from becoming a magical girl. Because if you watch this anime, you know that whenever they become magical girls, they become witches when they die. And obviously she cares too much about her friend to let her suffer, pretty much. So that's kind of the deal with Homura. And then you can also read their little bios in this game, which is really useful for this. Yeah, this game is really great if you're a Madoka Magica fan. And yeah. So for her outfit, I use pieces that I already happen to have. And it's kind of like a closet cosplay of her outfit from the anime, but like if I ever learn how to sew or customize doll outfits, I'm definitely gonna make them all proper magical girl outfits. But yeah, her Eyeswap turned out surprisingly well. Like I was so nervous when doing this for the first time because I was so scared to stretch out those eye sockets, just trying to get these in. But now that they're in, like I feel like the purple really, really suits her. And I still have to cut bangs on her and the rest of them, of course. Once I get the final two base dolls, but yeah. She looks amazing with purple eyes, doesn't she? Like, anything with purple eyes is something that I never thought I needed in my collection until I saw her like this, and it's like, wow, she's phenomenal. She looks beautiful with these eyes. And then for the ones that I do have, they are like duplicates of for the project. I still have to get duplicates of these two for Sayaka and Mommy, but the one I got after her is Mini Choi, aka Madoka, because let's just say Bella Parker's hair color just wasn't doing it like for like Madoka in my opinion. Like Bella's color did not match the character enough for me. And I was covering like the information on the upcoming like Rainbow High K-pop stars dolls, aka the like those re-releases of the Royal 3. And I was like, wait. Mini Choi has Madoka Kaname's hair color. And it just kind of like made me decide to use her as the base doll for Madoka from there. That is how Madoka looks in the game in the anime, and you can kind of tell like the color palette I want to go for with her from this, and how like the soft pink hair was just really, really important for this custom, and just to get the full effect of who Madoka Kaname is and the color theme. Unfortunately, there's no Rainbow High doll with pink eyes, so I guess I won't have to worry about any eye swaps with her then, because yeah, she doesn't have. There aren't any dolls that match Madoka's like eye color. Honestly, though, Mei Choi is a really pretty doll in her own right, and she definitely gives a sweet, innocent vibe, and she's just so pure. Like, she just feels like that. And as for the bio for her in the game, there is the bio. So yeah, Madoka is very selfless and sweet and just pure, and well, she was also like Homer Akemi's like first like really close friend, which is why Homer is so protective over her. And yeah, and I still have yet to like kind of like get her like a dress that like fits Madoka's like aesthetic a bit more, but I did pick a really cute shoe and sock combo for her to kind of give the theme. And then the third one I got the base for doll for is Kyoko Sakura. So for her base doll, I chose to use a Fantastic Fashion Ruby. And then I put her in Mila Barrymore's outfit and the boots from like Rosie Redwood, because I feel like they really fit Kyoko's vibe a lot from how she looks in the anime and all that. So there is how Kyoko Sakura looks in the game. And there's the bio if you want to read it. Yeah, sorry for all the Madoka Magica spoilers, but I'm sure but knowing me, we all probably knew there were going to be spoilers in this video. But yeah. But yeah, Kyoko has a very intense personality in the show. And she does swear at like people a lot more than the other girls do. She comes off as very rude initially. She's like one of those magical girls who's really like in it for herself, acts like she doesn't care about anybody else, when in actuality, once you learn her backstory, you learn why this is the case and what made her worldview the way it is. And it's really, and her story, like her backstory, similar to Homura's, is very, very tragic. And yeah, I'm sure it's kind of obvious why I picked Ruby for this one. Because I know Kyoko's hair is a slightly darker, more burgundy, like red. Or but like honestly, Ruby gives the red vibe off really well. Even if like natural like red eyes do not exist in the Rainbow High doll line. So I don't know if she's gonna get eye swapped either. Maybe if I find one with like reddish brown or some eyes with like very strong hints of red to complement the outfit, but yeah. That's kind of Kyoko so far. And of course I do need to get like a lot of ribbons for these customs. Probably more outfit pieces and just, and I definitely have to cut bangs on them. So now continuing on to the two who I haven't really done. I don't have the duplicate of yet. So literally earlier today, I did order a duplicate of Gabriella Isley. And I'm sure if you know the show, you know what blue character I'm turning her into. Sayaka Miki. So Sayaka is basically Madoka's like best friend, who like she goes to school with, who ends up becoming like a magical girl, and she has like a very strong sense of justice. And she also has a crush on this guy named Kyosuke, and if you watch the anime, you know what happens to her. And it's like one of the most depressing things in the entire show. But yeah, her character's arc is a very depressing one, and it's one of those character arcs in anime that people will analyze to death because just that fascinating and interesting to observe from a psychological standpoint. But yeah, that's kind of like Sayaka. And I'm sure you can tell, like, with the light blue and all, why like Gabriella Isley is going to be used for her base doll. And another thing with lighter haired Rainbow High dolls is that like their hair is fairy. So as her hair is easy to dye and all that, it would be very easy to get like Sayaka's shade of blue. And then for the eyes, I am thinking of either using extra Ainsley eyes for her once they get her dupe, or getting like an extra Skylar for really cheap and using her eyes or something like that. But yeah, like that's kind of plans for like the Sayaka custom, and yeah, that's definitely going to be the one most extreme customs of these because of the amount of customization needed for her. And then finally, moving on to the final member of the Holy Quintet that we're going to be doing. Mommy Tomei. Tomoe or whatever. Yeah, her last name is kind of confusing to pronounce, but I do want to find a duplicate Cheryl for Mommy because my Cheryl does have the more rare lip variant. I do want to find like another Cheryl to use for this custom. But as for why I would pick like Cheryl for Mommy, just look at her. Like the color palette is just too spot on here, and yeah. So Mommy is the main, is the like main veteran magical girl of the group. Something very interesting happens to her in the 3rd episode of the original anime, which if you know what I'm referring to. But anyways, there is kind of her bio. So basically she is also based on the more traditional ideals and values of more traditional magical girls, kind of similar to how Madoka is. And well, she's very, very yellow themed. Another thing associated with her is, interestingly, baking. There are several times when she'll bake cakes for her friends. And yeah. And we do have a second version of her in this game as well, where it's more of a cute little baking outfit. But yeah, that's kind of Mommy's as aesthetic. I feel just Cheryl just matches her to the point where it's just undeniable. And as for what got me into Madoka Magica, way back in high school, I kind of got into it after I got into Ruby, which is another anime I really, really like. And I saw it on Netflix first, of all places, as well. And it was the first magical girl show I ever watched. Yes, I watched Madoka Magica before ever watching or looking up Sailor Moon. And now, to me, it definitely affects the way I see Sailor Moon and Pretty Cure as well, because I can't help but look at those shows and be Madoka has better writing. But it's one of my comfort shows. It's my top favorite show of all time. And I just wanted to do something for myself on this channel with this project. And just make these customs, do these characters justice, and just really have fun and go crazy with it. Because I just love how the Rainbow High aesthetic is so monochromatic, and it matches the Madoka Magica aesthetic with the monochromatic color schemes really, really well. Rainbow High characters literally have color schemes that are so similar to what you see in your typical magical girl outfit. It's crazy to me. And yeah, there is kind of all the holy quintet in this menu listing all the magical girls. Yeah, if you go beyond this, it's literally just stuff from Magia Record and other Madoka Madoka Magica spin-off stuff. But yeah, these are my customs of the main girls from main series so far. And once I get their base dolls, I'll definitely update on any progress on them as well. As for the ones I kind of have set up right now, I'm happy with how they are so far. I will be working on them over time because this is personally a passion project for me, and I really want to do these characters justice and make these dolls absolutely gorgeous and breathtakingly beautiful. So goodbye, mysterious audience. I love you. And I appreciate you watching the channel. And that was just kind of me talking about my like progress on the Madoka Magica custom doll project. Rambling about the anime for way too long. And just kind of talking about how my first Eyeswap went well, and no dolls were hurt in the process.